Creating content takes time, effort, and creativity. But what if you can automate it? Imagine an AI powered system that writes blog for you, generates social media posts, schedules them, and even generates video scripts for you, all while you are focusing on creativity, growth, and strategy. Welcome to my course on AI automation powered by n8n. In today's lesson, we are exactly going to build that kind of AI automation workflow that generates the blog posts, social media posts, as well as YouTube script for you. But before we start building, let's quickly see what are the advantages of building such an AI powered system. Well, if you look at the traditional content creation journey, it requires manual research, writing, editing, formatting, as well as publishing. Of course, it is time consuming and it is prone to writer's block where we are stuck with the idea or how to write the new blog. While on the other hand, AI powered content creation system is where AI generates drafts, format content, and creates variations automatically. It works 24/7. It frees up your time for higher level creativity, strategy, and focus growth. Now let's get to the screen share and start building this AI automation workflow. Alright, I'm logged into the cloud instance of my n8n workspace and I have created a new workflow called lesson 18 automate blogs and social media posts. This is what we'll be doing. There'll be a trigger which is basically on a new topic added to a Google Sheet. So we'll be maintaining a list of topics with other fields column. I'll just show you how that Google Sheet looks. Then the first step would be generate an SEO optimized blog post for the topic for which blog and social media posts are not generated. So that means we are also maintaining a status. Step 2 is generate social media posts for multiple platforms. And third and final step would be generate a YouTube video script and save it in Google Docs. Well, ideally the final step would be to mark the status in the original sheet for that particular topic as well, but we are going to cover that in the workflow. Let me quickly show you the worksheet that we have. Let's open the Google Doc and let me zoom in a bit. So you can see at the top, I have this AI content generation Google Sheet where there is a sheet called content generation topics and then there is a sheet called AI prompts. I'll come to that. Over here, you can see that topics, audience, tone, word count, domain or niche, and status. That's what we have as columns. And what we are going to do is add some topics over here. Some topics are already added over here. And you can see that this workflow is going to work on multiple types of audience, multiple types of topic. You can define tone as well, what the tone you would like to have. You can have a word count that you want to target. You can have a domain or niche. And finally the status for which we are going to build. So that means that you can use the same system to generate posts for multiple blogs. Of course, while posting to that particular blog, you would have to have some sort of identifier added to this sheet. So you can do that. You can add a column over here, blog name, and then based on that, you can publish on that particular blog. But I have put miscellaneous topic in this sheet to give you an idea that this is not restricted to a particular domain or a niche. Now the second sheet that I have is AI prompts. So this time I'm going to take it to the next level. In the last lesson of this course, we learned about how you can put in system prompt, how you can put in user prompt in the OpenAI node of n8n and then let it do the job, let it do the AI magic. Over here, what I have done is I have created a sheet which is going to maintain these AI prompts so that we can optimize the workflow that we have. Now let's go back to our workspace and start building. So over here, first thing that we have to do is add a trigger, and trigger over here you can see that on new topic added to Google Sheet, but I'm going to do both of them. I'm going to have a trigger manual as well as I'm going to search the Google Sheet and I'm going to use a trigger. So you can see at the bottom on row added or updated or added updated, you can use any of them. I'll just say row added. So this is going to have two triggers. We can trigger manually as well. Let's configure this one. So over here, what we want is mode is every minute. Probably I don't want every minute, maybe like an every hour. And then we want like document to be AI content creation. And then from the list, I'm going to first select this content generation topics list and trigger on row added. We can execute this. Nothing is going to be returned because nothing has been added. So in order to keep on building our workflow without adding sheet and then triggering this workflow, I'm going to simplify it by adding another Google Sheet to this manual trigger node. So here we are going to use the get rows from the sheet and we are going to select the same sheet, content generation. In the sheet, we are going to use the content generation topic, and in the filters, we are going to add some sort of filters. So over here, we are going to use the column status, and the value should be one of these. So we have pending, so we will use the pending one. And in the options, I'm going to use return only first matching row. We do not want our workflow to publish content so fast. That is why we have at least 1 hour lag in our Google Sheets trigger. Ideally, there should be a scheduled trigger for this kind of a workflow, which is running at 8 a.m. every morning and publishing the content and the very same day, same moment that you want to publish. So maybe you can tweak your workflow that you will be building based on a scheduled trigger. So, but over here we are building it manually, so it does not matter. So I'm going to turn on this. So it is going to only return one row at a time, and let's execute this and see what we got. So now you can see we have row underscore number, topic, audience, tone, word count, domain, niche, status is pending. And the topic that we'll be working is top 5 AI tools for solopreneurs. So now let's go back to our workflow and keep on building on it. So we have to first generate our blog post, which is in this step 1, like create a blog post. So for that, I would need some sort of an AI, and for that we will be using the OpenAI n8n node so that we can call one of the large language models of OpenAI using that node. But in the step 2, we have to generate multiple social media posts for different types of social media platforms. So now what you can do is we can have like one OpenAI node for LinkedIn, one OpenAI node for Twitter X, one OpenAI node for Facebook, one maybe for Instagram. We can have all those 4-5 nodes added over here, assign them some sort of system prompt, some sort of user prompt, and then ask the workflow to generate it. However, I'm not going to follow that approach. I'm going to follow a little bit dynamic approach in this particular workflow so that I can make you understand that this is how you can also think. You don't need to hard code everything. This is the way you are optimizing the workflow that you are building. You are utilizing less number of nodes and you are making your workflow more flexible, because tomorrow, let's suppose another social media platform you need to handle, then what will you do? You will come back to this workflow, you will add another node of that particular social media platform, could be TikTok, right? So let us look at what you will have to do in order to do that. So if I go back to my sheets, there were 2 sheets, content generation topics, and then there was this AI prompt sheets. So what I'm doing is I'm maintaining my prompts, which is system prompt, which lets the OpenAI or any kind of large language model assume some sort of a role, assume some sort of an expertise, assume some sort of an instructions, which will be base instructions for all the further user inputs or user queries that you will be doing with that large language model. So that was your system prompt. That's what we learned in the last couple of lessons. So I'm maintaining the system prompt for my WordPress content platform, and I'm also maintaining a user prompt as well, that how the blog post should get generated. All the instructions are there in the user prompt. But if I scroll down, you would see that I have Twitter as well. Similarly, I have LinkedIn, for which I'm using a system prompt and a user prompt. Then I have Facebook as well. And at the bottom, I have YouTube as well. Why I'm doing this? Because you can see that in all these different system prompts, I want our LLM to assume different types of roles. So like for WordPress, we have, you are a 15-year experienced professional blog writer specializing in domain and niche, and you can see that I have these double curly braces over here in which I have written domain underscore niche. So this is more like dynamic way of creating this particular prompt, because domain underscore niche is a column that we have in this sheet. If I come over here, you would look at this domain underscore niche. This is the column. Similarly, I have word underscore count, and then similarly I have tone, audience. All these things I'm going to use as dynamic way of inserting them into our prompts so that our prompts become dynamic in nature. In the WordPress, we are assuming it to be a professional blog writer, whereas in Twitter, we are asking the LLM to assume a role of 15-year experience social media copywriter creating engaging Twitter threads. And similarly for LinkedIn, we have flavored the prompt for LinkedIn content strategies, and for Facebook, 15-year content marketing carousel options for Instagram and Facebook. That's how you are creating different types of system prompts dynamically using the values which are there in the first sheet. And if we go down and if you look at the YouTube one, you would see a completely different type of prompt where we are asking the LLM to assume a role of 15-year YouTube content strategist and script writer, because what we want is we want our script to be created. Now on the right hand side, what I have is the user prompts, and you can see that dynamic nature that I was explaining is in the user prompt as well, because here I'm saying write a blog post on topic. In the double curly braces I have topic. In the target word count, again I have double curly braces, I have word underscore count. So before giving it to the AI node, we have to replace these from the values that we have fetched from the Google Sheet in the first row for that particular topic. So that is what we are going to do. I'm not going to read the entire user prompt. I'm going to share a link where you can download the entire JSON of this particular workflow, and also the link to all these prompts or this Google Sheet that you can create a copy out of it. So for the Twitter prompt, we have create a 5 to 7 tweet Twitter thread based on the blog post given below by following the rules defined. So these are some of the rules that we have defined. We have also defined an output format that LLM should take into consideration. And finally, we are giving it the input of entire blog post that has been created in the previous step, so that the social media post can be generated from it. It is not generating topic based social media post, rather it is creating the social media post from the blog post that we have, and similar instructions are there for others as well. You can see at the bottom we are going to insert the blog content that we will generate using AI. Finally, I will show you the prompt that we have for YouTube as well. Convert the following blog post given below into a YouTube video outline following the rules defined here. So we want a video title, click worthy, hook for first 10 seconds, each with a timestamp estimate, CTA at the end, like, comment, subscribe and download. Output format is like title we want hook, we want outline with time base and section what you want, and closing CTA, and then we are giving it a blog post content of it. So similar to other social media platforms as well, for YouTube video script creation as well, we have provided this prompt. Don't worry if you are not able to follow it, because I'm going to do it step by step in the instruction. You can also pause the video, download this file and read these user prompts and system prompts and how they are dynamically configured over here. Another advantage of maintaining all this in this kind of Google Sheet, tomorrow if let's suppose TikTok comes, I'll just have to add the platform, which is TikTok, the system prompt and the user prompt, and that's it. And that would do most of my job. And then we have to go back to our workflow and just add the last node, which is more like a TikTok node that will be used to publish the content on TikTok. Rest of the things remain same in the entire workflow. So that's the power of dynamic nature of handling these prompts and simplifying the workflow that you are building. Now you have the complete understanding of how we are going to build it. Let's go back and start building. Let's add a Google Sheet node. Let's have get rows in sheet. So Google Sheet, get rows. From the document, we are going to select the same document, AI content generation. In the sheets, we are going to select the second sheet, which is our AI prompts. And this time we want all the prompts to be returned, all the platforms to be returned. So I'm going to execute it and you would see that all the prompts should be over here. So it has returned 5. Let's go back and see in the table. So you have content platform WordPress, you have content platform Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. So all the 5 prompts have been returned. Now what we have to do is we have to basically create our user prompts for further processing. And what do I mean by creating of user prompts? We have to basically replace this topic, this word underscore count, this tone, as well as we have this domain niche over here by the keys which are mentioned over here, like domain niche AI tools would get replaced over here before we send this system prompt or set this system prompt in our OpenAI node. So that means this would become, you are a 15-year experienced professional blog writer specializing in, and there is the domain AI tools, specializing in AI tools. You have deep expertise, and rest of the things remain same because there is no placeholder over here. In the user prompt, we have topic. So you can see that this topic would get replaced, top 5 AI tools for solopreneurs. So write a blog post on the topic. So that topic will come. Target word count, we are specifying word underscore count. So this is more like a placeholder. So that means it will get replaced by this 1200 over here. Audience will get replaced by solopreneurs / freelancers, and domain niche we have already seen, that's how it will get replaced. So that is the dynamic nature of our system prompt and user prompt. And how do I do that? There is no straightforward way without writing a piece of code in order to do that. Now this becomes a low code AI automation solution, not like a no code. But if you are only interested in no code solution, then what you can do is you can use all these prompts to create multiple AI nodes over here, and then use the static prompts over there by using the variables of the fetch the topic node where the topic details have been fetched for you. But even for this low code platform, we are going to use AI in order to write the code for you, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. So let's add a code node over here first. So let me add this code node. And now this code node has been added. So you can see that this is getting an input of system prompt and user prompt. So here we have to write a piece of code that basically searches for anything which is like under these double curly braces, replaces that from the values which are coming in this fetch the topic node. That's what we have to write the code. You can see that if you are using the cloud version of n8n, then in the code node you would have this ask AI tab as well, so that you can ask the AI to write the code for you. So if I click on it, here you can specify your instruction that what you would like to do, and then it is going to generate the code for you over here. So now let's add some instructions in plain English over here and see if this can generate the required code for you, so that even if you don't understand how to write code, you can still implement a low code automation workflow. So let's start writing some instructions. I think I'm happy with this prompt. I can click on generate code and let's see what happens. Alright, so it has generated some sort of code over here. I'm not going to go and explain it to you because you might not be technical, you might not understand what this code is doing, but pretty much by the look of it in instant second, I think that it should work. Let's go ahead and execute and see what happens. Alright, it has produced an output and you can see that it has replaced all the values. So it's just magic, right? You did not know how to write code. You just provided it some instruction in n8n itself and it has written the code for you. So that's the power of AI, and that's how you can also create low code AI automation workflows without writing a single line of code, because you are asking the AI to write the code for you, not yourself. It is exactly doing the job that we want it to do. As you can see in the system prompt, the value of our key has been replaced. The AI tools is coming as an output, and over here as well, write a blog post on the topic top 5 AI tools for solopreneurs. You can see that this value is coming from the output of this particular node. Even the audience has been replaced, the target word count is there, tone has been replaced as well. So that means we have final set of system prompt as well as user prompt for each and every content platform, fine-tuned to the topic that was added to Google Sheet in a dynamic manner, so that if tomorrow TikTok comes in, you just add a row over there in the AI prompt sheet, add a system prompt, add a user prompt, and the prompt will be ready for you to be injected into a single AI node that would iterate over all these prompts and do the job for you, instead of having multiple AI nodes for each and every platform. So let's go back to the canvas now. So that means let me rename these as well so that we can understand them, what these nodes are doing. So far so good. We have not done anything but fetch the data. First thing now we have to do is generate SEO optimized blog post for the topic. So for that, now I'm going to go ahead and add a if node first. So we are going to add an if node, and why we want to do that? Because I have to check the platform. So content platform I have to check first whether it's WordPress or not, and I'm going to have ignore case turned on. So I'm going to execute this. So that means that if the WordPress is there, it is going to follow this branch. If it is any other social media platform, then it is going to follow this branch. And why we have to do that? Because all these AI prompts, as you see, they all need the blog post content to be first generated, and then only based on the input of that blog post content, we are going to generate the social media post. We are not going to generate the social media post directly from the title or the topic that we have generated. Ideally, it should not happen like that, because then your blog post and social media content can feel disconnected. So that's why I have branched my workflow over here. First thing we are going to add is OpenAI node. And over here, we are going to have a messenger model. And from the list of model, we are again going to choose our favorite one, which is like 4O Mini. So first prompt, we always want a system one. So we are going to say system. So this will be our first one. We also have a user prompt. So we are going to say user prompt, and we are not going to write the prompt this time because we already have it configured from our Google Sheet in a dynamic manner. So I'm going to drag this system prompt over here. So this becomes our system prompt. And then I'm going to drag the user prompt over here. At the bottom, we can specify simplify output content as JSON. We can leave it for now because we have already provided it a structure. So if I look at my prompt over here, I think I have already provided the format and structure should be like written in pure HTML, not markdown in plain text. Use proper HTML semantics. At the bottom, include some FAQs as well. So output must be in HTML and ready to use in n8n WordPress node. So that means we are going to further use the WordPress node of n8n in order to publish our blog post. Let's rename this, generate blog post from topic. Let's rename and let me execute this step. It is going to take a bit time in order to generate the entire blog post for us. Alright, so our blog post has been generated, and if I look at the JSON, so this time it is there in message content, and this is the blog post that it has generated. So it looks like pretty big. So the best way of leveraging this kind of automation workflow is that you are generating this content from AI, but it is you who are going to change the voice and tone. You always should edit, insert your anecdotes, review the entire blog post that has been created. So that means you just become an editor instead of writer. Heavy lifting is being done by AI, but it is still your job as an editor to review the content that AI has created, because AI is known to generate some sort of hallucination where the false information can also be interested. It might not be following your tone. So you should always review and edit whatever these AI platform is generating for you, then only rely on posting. Otherwise it will be bunch of garbage out there in the internet at the end of it, because then everyone will start using without adding their own point of view, own personality, own tone, their own individual way of thinking. So please always keep that in mind while generating all the automated content that you want to. Over here you can see that there are some HTML, these ticks are there, 3 ticks, and then HTML is there. So it requires some sort of a cleanup, because from this particular tag, the doc type HTML tag, that's where the real HTML starts. That's what we can send to our WordPress node in order to publish this. So for that, I'm going to clean it up a bit. So this has generated the blog post. So in order to clean this up, let's add a set fields node. And here we are going to drag this value. And you can see that these 3 ticks and HTML is coming. So we have to replace this. And at the bottom as well, there is something like that. So you can see these 3 ticks are coming. So I'm going to use replace all. So let me write this. So this becomes now json.message.content.replace all. So first we are replacing this HTML 3 ticks, and then at the last we are replacing the last 3 ticks which are there at the bottom of it. Let me execute this, and it is going to just return us the content over here. So you can see that those 3 ticks and HTML has been cleaned up, and at the bottom as well. So let's rename this to clean HTML, clean up HTML, and let's rename this. Now let's go ahead. So that means now our content is ready to be published. I'm going to use the WordPress node, and what we want is create post. So let's use that. I already have a blog over here, so I'm going to use the same blog. I'm not going to publish the content over here. I'm going to just publish the content in draft mode on my blog, and then I'm going to just show you that this is how you can do. For the credentials part, you can create simple credentials. You can have a username, password, and the WordPress URL over here. So it's pretty much simple for creating a WordPress credentials, because you would already have a username, you would already have a password. You can use that. You can create a new user and assign those username and password over here, and the WordPress URL that you have. That's all you need in order to create the WordPress credential. I have already created one, so I'm going to use that. This is my Discover with Dheeraj travel blog, which was earlier Devil on Wheels. So now it has been rebranded, but that's what the blog that I'll be using. The resource is post, the operation is create. And for the title, we are going to extract the title, and I'm going to write an expression over here, because if I look at the JSON, you would see that the title has been mentioned over here. Top 5 AI tools for solopreneurs. Boost your productivity. So we are going to extract this particular piece and write it over here. So we are going to click on this expression. I'm going to write this. We want json.message.content, and that's where I'm going to use match. So we are going to match a regex over here and what the regex would be. So we want to start searching for this, and then in between anything could be there, and then we want to end it over here. So that's how it is going to extract whatever was in between. It is going to provide me the array, and the second one is what I'm interested in. So you can see the preview of the result. Total 5 AI tools for solopreneur. That becomes our title, and then I'm going to add the author name over here. So it is going to fetch all the authors or user in my blog, and I'm going to select my name, and then I'm going to say content, and then in the content I can basically drag this. So this is the content that I would like to post, and then finally I would also want the status. I do not want status to be published because that's a blog that is a travel blog, and I do not want an unreviewed piece of content to be on my blog in a published state. But you can basically publish it. You can publish it privately, you can put it pending, or you can schedule as well. But I'm going to put it as draft for now, and I'm going to click on execute step. Alright, so the AI generated blog has now been automatically posted on my blog, and I'll quickly go over there and show it to you as well. So let's try discoverwithdheeraj.com. So that's my travel blog dedicated to the northern Himalayas of India. So I'm going to like this, enter this, and then let's log in. So let's go to the all posts, and you can see over here that this post is what that has been created. So if I click on this, so you can see that this post has been created. Some links have also been generated. So it has followed some guidelines of SEO. It has also included the FAQ that we have asked it for. And if I have to preview it, I can click on this, and you can see that on my blog. This is basically how the post looks like. So this is like auto-generated content that is being inserted, but you can see that all this content that we had created has been published live on my blog. Not really published because the status of this content is draft stage. I'll have to convert it into pending, private, scheduled, or published in order to publish it and make it live on my blog. Right now I'm logged in, that's why we were able to preview it. So the first part of the workflow is automated fully. You have now learned the way how to use dynamic prompts. You have learned the way how to generate code using AI in n8n without you knowing any kind of coding. By writing simple plain English instruction, you have learned how you can generate a blog using those dynamic prompts, converted into the static prompts, and then by giving or feeding those prompts to OpenAI node, and then finally publishing the content using WordPress node of n8n. So that's the flow that we have automated. Let me go back. Let's save our progress, and let's click on this, and let's pin this, because we do not want unnecessary calls to go to our OpenAI APIs, because that all costs money. Now we are going to use the content that has been created for this blog post as an input for creating all the social media posts, so that we can amplify the message in different social media channels for the blog post that we have created. Now let's build that part.